Hey folks, Internet Dude here. So I'm back with another Lada Niva video, and this one I think is just going to be minor updates on what's going on, not necessarily how to. So again, just trying to progress to get this thing running. I discovered when I was looking around that on the air intake box here, it tells me the actual spark plug gap. So AI wasn't correct in my earlier video, so I removed the spark plugs and gap them properly. And then also we moved over the clutch fluid reservoir with the hose and attached that, and I bought some .4 brake fluid and put some in the clutch reservoir and the brake reservoir. I don't want to push on the brakes just yet because I know one of the brake calipers, the left front, sticks. So for now I'm not going to do that. We also pulled out the front seats. I want to clean them up and get rid of some of that awful mouse smell. The back seat was already out. And then in between here we have the gas tank. And what I've done is we've put, I don't know, a few gallons here of Evaporust in there. And just letting that sit for a couple of days, and we'll swish it around and stuff and try and de-rust the top of the tank. So just kind of random stuff going on here. And more cleaning to do in here. What I want to also do is inspect the wiring, because I want to be able to power it up and try and crank it here at some point. But I want to visually inspect the wiring and stuff before I hook the battery up. And I know there's been some mouse activity, so cleaning inside the glove box and different things. All right, so here's just a little bit of an update. The gas tank has de-rusted its face there really well. Sometimes I don't use the right words. Anyway, the top inside of the tank is much better. I set it in just to connect the power. It's not actually installed yet. I threw the battery in there. I looked at the wiring. It's good. Connected the battery, and there's no smoke and there's no bad noises and stuff, so very close to fire up. I decided to pull the injector out. It has a single GM style fuel injector. And it looks very clean, looks good. Let's see if I can get you zoomed in on this. Focus. So it looks really good. So I'm actually just going to put that back in. I probably should have done that as part of the fuel video. The levels of the brake and clutch did not drop, so that's good. I guess there's not an active leak. I did actually, off camera here, I jammed the brake pedal a couple times. It was really stiff. Pardon me, the clutch. It was really stiff initially, and then the pedal went and got stuck to the floor, and so I lifted it up and kind of worked it a couple times, but there's probably a lot of air in the clutch system. The brakes, I hit them a couple times. Doesn't feel real good, but the fact that there's still fluid in there is a good sign, so we'll see when I get to that point. Anyway, so basically next up, what I want to do is now that I know I can connect the wiring up, put that injector back in, kind of close that up a little bit. I want to clean underneath that tank. I want to get the tank back in. I do want to pull the actual mechanism out of there where the pump is and stuff, because I did try turning the key too, and the pump was not making noise. I don't think the pump's any good, but I do want to check for power and stuff like that too. So that is kind of where I'm at with this. So I put the injector back in, and then I noticed this hose that actually goes down. I'll show you. Anyway, it connects down there to that little silver thing. And basically that's a crankcase breather. And when I pulled it out, noticed there's a big split in the hose. So I'm not sure what I'll do there. Maybe I can just clamp it good enough for now, because that could be a vacuum leak. So on the end of that hose that connects to the air cleaner, I was taking a look and I noticed it has some kind of filter built into it. So it's actually a special hose. All right, so I think I was able to fix that hose. If you look down there, there's a new piece of hose, and I have a little elbow, and had some extra clamps, and it comes up, and it just barely reaches, and I need to put a clamp on there. So, all right, so back inside, I didn't put the tank in yet, but I did want to verify power going to the fuel pump, and just FYI, the black wire with the white tracer is the ground, and the gray wire is the wire that provides 12 volts to the pump. The other two wires must be used for the sending unit. So what I did is I turned the key on, and I would see 12 volts show up for just a couple seconds, and you could hear a relay click in the footwell over there. So it must be the fuel pump relay. So I removed the pump. There's just some 7mm nuts on here. You can see the tanks. Not real pretty inside. And here's the actual pump assembly. You can see it's crusty and rusty and probably should be replaced, to be honest. But what I'm going to do is not replace it, of course. I'm going to try and fix it if I can. However, I think I will be able to buy just kind of a generic replacement pump. And I want to also just dunk the whole thing in Evaporust because it works so well on the other part of the tank. I don't think that pump is going to work, but I think, well, I'm just hoping, I guess, to be honest, that putting this in Evaporust will cause the float arm connections to fix themselves, and I could buy a new pump. All right, so I let it sit overnight in Evaporust, which took care of a lot of the rust. You can see here it's cleaner. I then removed the fuel pump, typical GM TBI fuel pump there, and the sock ripped off. So what I'm going to have to do is buy a new pump that matches the spec. I actually noticed there was a number on here, so that may be helpful. And I guess the only other thing is the fuel level sender there. I plug this into the vehicle, turn the key on, and put the float up and down just by hand. And the gauge shows empty when empty, and when it's full it shows 3/4, so that's good enough for me. All right, so a little update for you here again. The gas tank itself is in completely, bolted down, vent lines connected, fill line and everything connected. So what's basically left is the get the fuel pump repaired and put back in here. So after the fuel pump assembly here, what I had done is used some of this deoxit spray, and I had sprayed the contacts for the float mechanism, which probably can't see, it's dark, but back behind there is the mechanism for registering the float level. For what it's worth, this is the fuel pump that I bought. I got it from Rock Auto. There's the part number, so if this works and you have the throttle body injection Niva, this is an option for you. I picked this one in part because it includes the sock. I got a couple clamps, a small section of hose here. Wiring, probably won't need that, I'm not sure yet. Little rubber gasket there, we'll need that. There's a couple more O-rings for the tank for up there. I don't know if they fit this particular application. And here's the pump itself. It's got a little cap here, another cap down there. We'll just compare these two. So let's go this way. Lengthwise, the new one's just a tiny bit shorter. This just seems to be some kind of plug right here. Shape-wise, it looks like the electrical connector and everything is probably going to be about the same. And the tube is pretty close, so yeah, looks like it's probably going to work. So I'll get to reinstalling this and we'll see what happens. Well, I think that's going to do it. The float arm is good to go there, and the pump's in. I'm not sure if this is pointing in the right direction, that pickup sock, but I kind of set it in place and we'll see. I reused the fuel pulsator, so should be okay. These are really expensive to replace, and from what I've read, once the fuel is pumped up into here, these seals kind of push out and make sure it doesn't leak at all. So anyway, I think it's good to go. I'm gonna put it in the car and we'll check it out. All right, so I just set the pump in there. I didn't bolt it down or tighten any connections or anything. I did hook up the wiring connector, and I just want to check real quick if I turn the key on, if we hear some buzzing. I'm not worried about pressure today, but I don't have time to go get gas stuff right now. But what I want to do is just see if that's working. So I'm going to put the microphone down here, turn the key on. And that's good news. The pump is working. And that'll be it for this video. It's getting a little bit longer, but stay tuned. I'm ordering some more parts and I'm going to continue to clean, and I'll definitely be back with more Lada Niva videos here. Stay tuned. Be sure to like and subscribe.